Hey friends, welcome back to Big Nate's Whiskey Lounge. I am Nate, and I'm coming at you with a Scotch video today. I'm going to be doing a tasting set coming from Glenlivet. Glenlivet is a pretty famous Scotch distillery, and I always remember Glenlivet when I think about Anchorman, because when he's in that jazz club, Ron Burgundy orders Glenlivet. So this is Glenlivet, not any specific line or anything. This is a specific tasting set. This is called Spectra. So it's gonna be 3 bottles. There's 3 bottles in here, all 200 mils. And they kind of have different, it's kind of like a tasting experience. And so we're gonna start with number 01, Spectra 01. It says, a whiskey which will open the gates to our secret orchard. I don't know, that's a little sketchy wording there. I laugh every time I see that. This is what it looks like. See, we got Glenlivet, we got the 01 there, and then they show the triangles in here. The triangle to the left, the next one is either going to be to the side or to the bottom, and then vice versa for the third. This comes in exactly at 40% ABV. And I'm excited to give these a shot. I do like scotches. I'll be honest with you, I'm not very familiar with Glenlivet, even though they're pretty famous. But I saw this tasting set and I was like, I'm gonna give that a shot. To be honest with you, when I bought it, I thought it was going to be 3 from their core range. However, it's not, but that's okay. So we're gonna give this a shot here. It's interesting that these are, they're corked. I'm just gonna give a little pour of the 01. I'm on the Glenlivet website, and it does give tasting notes for all 3 of them separately. So the 01 is a fully matured Scotch in first fill sherry butts and first fill American oak barrels. Pretty dark for a Scotch, to be honest with you. I do like this a lot. Yeah, not getting any smokiness or anything. This shouldn't. I think one of them might have a little bit of smoke. I'll mention that when I get to it. It's either 2 or 3. Definitely some fruitiness. I'm getting a little bit of apple, maybe a little bit of pear. A little bit of coconut in there. Kind of getting some tropical vibes. Definitely picking up some vanilla from like the American oak. Let's take a sip. Okay. A little thin on the taste. Again, it is 40%. A lot of times, Macallan is famous for this, where one person really likes the nose versus the palate, and somebody really likes the palate versus the nose. Doesn't mean that the other one's not good. It's just what they prefer. And on 01, I'm definitely preferring the nose. It's kind of a journey of a nose. On the taste, it's just kind of, it's a little flat. Getting a little bit of vanilla, maybe a little bit of peachiness on it. I do get some sweetness, a little bit of sweetness. But I'm getting, if we're going peachiness, it's like the peaches you get in the cups, and it's kind of like the syrupiness of that, which I'm not a big fan of drinking. Don't necessarily do that, but it does taste like that. It's good. It's a little boring, to be honest with you. It's a little boring. That's all right. Let's move on to 02. I'm going to cleanse the palate, and I'm going to read this real quick. There's a QR code on the back, and it says, unlock the notes, scan the QR code, put on your headphones to enter the... So I don't know if maybe there's a narrated story or something. I'm honestly not sure. Let me get a little bit of water. Then I'm going to show you what this box actually does. It pops open. So it actually pops open like this. So all 3 separate slots, whereas when it's in the packaging, it's like this, and then you open it up like this. So this is number 2, Spectra 02, a taste which reminds you of having a bonfire by the seaside. So let me scroll down to that one. I think this one, yes. So this is now these are all single malt scotches. So if you've watched any of my other videos, I've kind of briefly discussed what that means. When it comes to, and I'm going to go backwards. So single malt scotch whiskey, going backwards is whiskey, which means we know that it is grain alcohol that's been aged in wood. We know that it's scotch, which means, so we know that it comes from Scotland. It's malt, so we know it is made from 100% malted barley. And then single, meaning it comes from one distillery. It is not a blend. But this is a single malt scotch whiskey that is fully finished. So we don't know what they originally matured it in. Maybe it's the 01 that's been finished. So this is 02. It is fully finished in ex-peated casks. So we don't know where they got those casks from. Possibly the island of Islay, a distillery on there. We just don't know. But that is okay. This also comes in exactly at 40%. Nice cork pop there. A little bit, can't tell if it's lighter color. I honestly couldn't tell you. Maybe when there was more in the glass on 01, I would have thought it was darker because it's coming with American oak, but I can't tell right now. Actually, I'm not necessarily getting a lot of smoke right away. So it's not hitting me like a peated scotch. You know, if I were to pour a Lefroy 10 or something like that, like, ooh, boom, peat. Not getting that up front. It smells really good. 2 smells better than 1. Man, I could sit in that nose all day. That's actually really, really good. Again, same kind of like the first one. As far as the nose go, a little bit of pear, a little bit of apple. You probably hear my cat. I usually keep him 2 doors out, and I forgot to shut the first door, so he's literally right there. Maybe just a hint of smoke. Maybe just a hint. Let's give it a taste. More complex on the taste than number 1 is. I actually get a little bit of the peatiness on the taste, and I actually really like that. I really like that. A little bit creamier too. Kind of creamy in the direction that sometimes Irish goes. That it is really good. Some of the same flavors that I'm getting up from the nose, a pear, apple, maybe a little bit of kind of like a jelly type of, or like a jello type of feel. It reminds me of that. This is good. So far 2. Yeah, that's really good. So of these, the Glenlivet Spectra, we got 01, 02, 03. So far 02 is my favorite over 01. It does linger a little bit longer than 1 does. Scotch for me, unless it's an Islay, doesn't tend to cling to the palate. So it's where bourbon tends to always have a finish on it, in my opinion. Some are thinner than others, depending on where they're at in their ABV and stuff like that. Scotch, the ABV really does affect whether or not there has a finish. It also is really affected by what's in it and how it's, you know, whether or not it's peated or not. So let's move to 03. So again, kind of cool how this opens up here. So Spectra 03. Discover a creamy, sweet whiskey touched by flames. So let me move down to this. And this is, you know, it doesn't say how it was made. So what I'm guessing is they made whatever the mash bill is for 01. And then they produced that, and that's what's in 01. Then 2 and 3 are different finishes. So the first one was 02 was finished in peated casks. This 03 is fully finished with double charred casks. So maybe a deeper char. I don't think this is like double oaked like we use in America with bourbon. I don't necessarily think it's that, but maybe it's just a deeper And again, discover a creamy sweet whiskey touched by flames. So let's pour this up a little bit. A lot of vanilla on the nose. A lot of vanilla. A little bit of honey, there's sweetness in there. Somewhere using the double chart. I don't know if that's using just, if they chart it and then chart it again, or I honestly don't know, or if it's like a double oaked situation. I just don't know. Again, there's some of that through all three, and because my theory, I don't know for sure, I think it's, they distilled 01, and then they finished 02 and 03, but used this, it was the same distillate in 02 and 03, but finished differently. So I'm still picking up on the pear and the apple. A lot of pear, because there's a softness to it that I get off the fleshiness of a pear. That's nice. I think my favorite nose is number 3. I think number 2 might have been, right now 2 is my favorite on flavor until I taste this. Number 2 might have been, but because I know I went in expecting more peat than was in there, I'm a little disappointed by that. So maybe that's why I'm leaning toward 3. But that pear, no, I really like the smell of pears. Yeah, a lot of barrel impact. It's nice. The pear taste is definitely in there. Maybe a little bit of honey. Touch of cinnamon in there too. The finish is a lot longer on this one than 1 and 2. So I gotta say, I think maybe 3 might be my favorite. Let me go back to number 2 for a real quick side-by-side tasting. Nose is definitely 3. No, I take it all back. 2 is my favorite all the way around. 2 is my favorite. So those are a really good experience. Again, you'll see those weren't sample bottles. Sample pours are usually like 50 milliliters, sometimes a little less. But these are 200 ml bottles, so I still have some left. I still have some to share with some others, so I'm excited about that. Hope you enjoyed this video. Again, this was the Glenlivet, the Spectra 01, 02, 03. I believe same distillate from 01 that was finished in 2 different ways. Really cool. Really enjoyed the experience. Hope you enjoyed it as well. Thanks for watching Big Nate's Whiskey Lounge. I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.